This is Kal Kat the Galacatster. This is a quickie review of Episode 6 of Star Trek Picard. 2 of 1. The dinner party episode. Sort of funky. Jonathan Frakes directed it. One of which they cut out about 5 minutes of it that didn't show. I don't know what that 5 minutes was. It's a very short episode. 39 minutes. Really short. They must have cut something out. Yeah. It got very weird. They're at the dinner party. Agnes is schizophrenic now because Borg Queen is in her head, leading her to do crazy stuff, drinking a lot. Kisses Rios at one point. Rios is pining for that doctor lady, so that's going to come back into play. These are my thoughts of it. So there's going to be some spoiler plot-wise. It's late, so let's get done with it. At first Agnes breaks out of the handcuffs because somehow Borg going inside her makes her super strong. I don't recall them having that. Well, I guess they could survive in space sometimes if they're drones, but only if they're official drones. Yeah, the movie, the First Contact, kind of messed with that, didn't it? Yeah, but still, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't. All right, I'll give them that. Breaking handcuffs, yeah. The dinner party thing, they are caught at one point because somehow Eric soon gets into the party. Because I guess he gave them money or something, or Adam Soon, I should say, who is being like Lore, breaks into the party, acts creepy, and then they suspect like he's the bad guy, and that Picard talks to him and determines he's sort of a bad guy, and Q is misleading him, which if he wasn't a bad guy would have alerted him to like, okay, maybe Q was lying to me, but apparently he's so deluded that he doesn't follow that, so that makes sense. He takes off. Then there's a timeline. There's a time crunch. The story's supposed to take place in 35 minutes to the end, right? For some reason, they're doing the 24 thing going on. Even though it's Los Angeles, and no, that doesn't work in Los Angeles. There's a dinner party thing. Rios likes his cigar. He found a cigar. Raffi is annoyed with him that he wants to go back to that hospital thing. They keep flashing back to a flash forward to Picard being injured, Captain Picard being injured. They get to a point in which the guards are alerted by Soong to go and catch Captain Picard, but somehow he's able to walk out and talk to his ancestor, Rini Picard, try to convince her to space mission. And somehow the key lines that he says are the lines later spoken generations later from his mother. That's not how that works, but that's fun, I guess. Agnes impromptu sings a song, and the band immediately knows to copy it and sing it after creating an EMP pulse that blackens the stage. They're not freaked out by that, and they don't all immediately leave. They just play a song, an 80s song. Okay, I won't play it because it could get flagged on YouTube. And then Soong gets in his car and attempts to run over Picard and his ancestor, and succeeds only in running over Admiral Picard. And then after this, runs off and nobody suspects him, no one arrests him, no one catches him. He goes away, and nobody notices that they've run over this old guy in the street. Nobody notices that. There must have been a scene missing where they took him away, transported him, beamed him, or whatever. Agnes has been assimilated, and she's running around, staggering around Los Angeles at the end. They go back to that clinic, and they try to revive him, but they make the excuse that he's got all these implants in him to make him a Borg, or make him a robot. Like they wouldn't notice that he's an android. All of these, he's got all the implants. It shorts out the defibrillator, but his mind is still hidden inside. And apparently, the Laris ancestor wants to go do a regular mind meld and go inside him and might fix it. Meanwhile, we have Adam Soong acting crazy at the daughter's house and then leaving. The daughter then looks up his computer password. Somehow she's got them, and goes through his files and finds out he's been experimenting on children for incurable diseases, apparently, and none of them have worked. And she was the last one, and she kind of doesn't work either because she's trapped inside shielding thing. Apparently, he's been using eugenics, like Khan, of which Eric Soong later on during Enterprise, centuries later, will also be using. Eugenics. Doesn't explain how she got there. Doesn't explain how he would. Does he have other children biologically at some point and isn't crazy and hasn't gone nuts because of Q? It's odd how the moral ambiguity of this. Well, we did do some of that in our Transformer thing as well, but there it made sense because it's silly Trek. Here, it's not supposed to be silly Trek. It's not supposed to be Starship Locations. The characters aren't supposed to behave in ways that they wouldn't behave. That's one of the things that in the Red Letter Media review they were complaining about, involving them switching from story to story without a favorable conclusion. Sort of like the writers had decided, in similar, some female lady writers will often write a story that's a mystery that doesn't get solved, a story that has no point of end. It's just a mystery. Whereas a lot of men writers will end the mystery with a gunfight or a crash or a chase or a punch out. They'll have an ending. It just won't make sense. So if you combine the two, you kind of get sort of a thing. Here, I think that's the problem with the series so far, now that we're 6 episodes in, is that they have a lot of ideas but no endings for them. So they're trying to super serialize a story that really doesn't have a lot of substance here in Los Angeles in the story. They need to. The story and the He-Man stuff that Bernard and Kevin Smith also worked on had kind of the same problem. Even though I liked the He-Man thing and I like this, but it's the characters switching from mood to mood based on what someone tells them. It's not how real humans think. It would be how somebody that doesn't understand how humans work thinks, but it's not how humans think. Even in some of my sci-fi stories, I was like, okay, well, we'll have the explainy character explain things and have moral issues and quandaries, but it'll make sense and it'll come to a conclusion. You may not like the conclusion, but it comes to a conclusion, or you may like the conclusion. Usually, in a similar way to the Star Wars movie saying there was always hope, that kind of thing. Similar to that. And Star Trek, there should always be hope as well. You can't have a story where your scientist character is driven completely mad to the point that he shouldn't have any more children ever, thus ending his timeline. But clearly he doesn't. He becomes Adam Soong from that dystopian future, and he's floating there in the statue thing. So he becomes the dystopian overlord. The only thing that makes sense is that they're in 2024 in the dystopian timeline, and it's not our timeline. They've gone to something like the mirror universe in there. That's not their timeline at all, so they could do whatever they want. And they start to act crazy because the timeline, endorphins in the timeline make them act crazy. In a similar way to how in the Starship Locations be Transformer story we're working on, the heroes appear to suddenly decide, we're going to do horrible stuff too. Experiments and stuff to get us home from this one scene. Yeah, we'll do that. Now that the experiment to get the robot's gun, to make the robot Chekhov's gun, the robot's gun out of it to use it to fly the ship with his power source, basically. Gun. But in this story, it's more like, they need Renee Picard to not be depressed, so she'll fly off in a spaceship. It's kind of, Yeah, if I was more involved in Picard season 1, not so much in this one, and it's like this season I would have been like, okay, what you got to do, you got to have expand the story and plot of each of your episode and make it end at a certain point. Otherwise, you're going to be lost. You can't just end with, ooh, here's the hook of this person starting off, or here's the hook of this in the middle of everything, of soon going crazy and doing eugenics experiments. There has to be a reason they're acting that way. And it isn't just that Q manipulated them, it's that they were always weird. Maybe in that universe it's weird as well. Them having the Red Letter Media complained about the bus scene. But the bus scene does end. They stop the bus, the jail bus. So that scene does end. But yeah, the idea, the millennial idea that, and it is a millennial idea. Ooh, there's drama we're going to talk about. There's stories we're going to talk about. Here's a situation happens, or drama happens. We never explain what the drama is. It just happens. In the classic Trek, they would have explained it a little. They would have said, Spock would have made some anecdote about the nature of, oh, you humans, you just don't understand, you're not logical. Spock would go smart off about, McCoy would then smart off to Spock about, oh, you just don't understand human guile, Spock, or take a joke or whatever. And Kirk would be like, boom, Spock. You know, they would go into that. But in this one, they don't, because it's written by ex-geners and some millennial writers who have changed the premise around. I'm an ex-gener, so I get what they're doing. They could have done it better. They didn't ask me to do a rewrite, so yeah. So I was not involved this season. Other stuff you can tell I wasn't. You'll have to see. Anyway, this was Picard. This was a season of that. Yeah, and obviously I not, because yeah, my channel would have a lot more subscribers and views if I actually was involved with Picard, but I'm not. Now, next season, they've decided to bring in the whole cast so they could give some ex-contest writers a call. I would be more than happy to assist them in the writing room if they want. Oh, yeah, sure.